This is the Morris Coilmaster coil minding machine. I bought this about 10 or 12 years ago and never used it. I sort of played with it from time to time, but I never actually got it working. It was a little bit seized up and needed some lubrication and adjustment. It also needed a base made for it, so I just made one today. Just something to hold a coil of magnet wire on. And basically you put the former for the coil in between these two pieces of wood here, tighten it up, put the magnet wire through this little gap here, and this is actually a piece of bent paper clip and that feeds the wire onto the coil you're winding. It's manually operated, but you can actually put an electric drill on here as well. So when you turn the handle, there's a cam here that pushes this rod backwards and forwards, and it also lifts it slightly as well. And this can be adjusted to suit the size of the coil you're winding. You can take this off and move it along or whatever you want to do. And as this rotates, the worm gear here records the number of turns that the coil has turned, so you can accurately measure the number of turns you've actually wound on the former. The machine comes with 2 additional cams. The one that's on there now is a 3/16 of an inch cam, and it comes with a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 of an inch. Actually, this is a 3/8. Sorry. And you could buy additional cams, different sizes. It also comes with 4 gears. They're interchangeable, and you just loosen the screws, pull this rod back, and put the different size gears on there. So you can adjust by putting a different cam size on it, it adjusts the length of the coil, and by adjusting the gears, it adjusts the number of turns per movement of the cam. So you can wind different types of coil by doing that. As it's set up at the moment, the instruction book sort of gives you different examples. So the way it's set up as you bought it, which is how it's set up at the moment, it's for winding honeycomb coils, and you can change it to wind spiderweb coils, the old-fashioned sort of 1920s style spiderweb coils like that. And it doesn't give you a lot of information, it just says experiment, which is fine. So I did a little bit of experimentation today. I managed to wind a coil. I didn't really do any measurements other than I think this is something like 200 turns of 38 gauge wire, and it ended up being 1 millihenry, almost exactly 1 millihenry, just on a piece of cardboard, just put between here. And I use this magnet wire. This is really old stuff. I can't quite make the date out, but I think it's 1920s wire. January 28 it looks like. Had this for years, and had this one for years as well. This is even smaller. This is 41 gauge. This is very difficult to wind with. I tried winding a coil with this and the wire broke after about 30 or 40 turns. But that was before I put this holder on, and I was just tensioning it by hand and unwinding it, and this will help a lot, I think, with spooling the wire onto the coil. So that's it. I tried it with electric drill today, and it works fine with electric drill, but I think you'd need a thicker gauge wire to use it with electric drill. Maybe something like 24 gauge or 26 gauge wire I think would be strong enough to withstand electric drill. You don't just have to wind the honeycomb or the spiderweb coils. You can actually wind a sort of choke type coil as well, just by layering it with one of the larger cams on here. I haven't tried that yet. but it is it's quite a neat little machine. This is the Mark 1, and apparently there was an improved version came out with a few little modifications to it. And I think that it was an instruction set for the improved. There you go, the improved coil winding machine, which came with some different accessories, I think, but not a lot of difference. There we go. Morris coil winding machine, probably dating from 1940s, 50s, something like that. It actually came with a letter dated 1970 from a company in Canada, writing to the Morris company asking for the instructions, saying that come across this machine, I would like the instructions for it. So it definitely predates 1970, so I would say probably 50s, could be earlier.